of my infinite wish list. If you're not familiar with what it is, simply I had collected a lot of gorgeous covers or intriguing titles of books I know nothing about. Then I make assumptions on them, reading the synopsis on Goodreads, and finally I decide if I would like to add it or not to my wish list. So, without any further ado, let's see what are today's titles and covers. The first one is Little Blackbird by Anna Kirchner. So this beautiful cover gives me the vibe of a fantasy genre. I think that the main character could be a child or a young adult. I think that this is a portal, so maybe there will be the theme of traveling in other worlds. Or, as the title says, Little Blackbird, maybe it's about a quest for finding a legendary bird. But now, let's move to the synopsis on Goodreads. Magic is dying out, but it will not disappear without a fight. Victoria is a 17-year-old with a secret. She has psychic powers. Her uncontrollable telekinesis hurts her and others, setting fires and throwing objects in the air, no matter how hard she tries to hold it back. All she wants to have is a peaceful, average life, but it's difficult when you've been cursed to destroy the magical world. Her carefully maintained facade of normality starts to unravel when she's hunted down by local sorcerers and their guardian, and accused of unleashing banished demons back into the human realm. The murder shakes up the magical community. Everyone agrees that the only way to save the world is to kill Victoria. Her only ally is a boy who can read her mind, shares her dreams, and makes her question her sexuality. Together they face mythical creatures and uncover ancient legends, and they soon realize that there is no such thing as simply good or evil. Whether they break the curse or allow it to fulfill its destiny, the magical world will be forever changed. Little Blackbird is a tale of trust, friendship, and family, and what it means to discover one's true path. Well, even though it seems average fantasy, middle grade, young adult book, I think that I'm going to add this one because of the idea of two people with psychic powers and how to struggle to survive and save the world in the meantime. Second book is The Snow Child by Eowyn Ivey. So this second book gives me again fantasy with a middle grade protagonist idea, as well as maybe this snow child is a child lost in the woods, and because of a fox in the cover, I think that the fox will be a magical guide for the main character. But now, let's see what it is really about. Alaska 1920, a brutal place to homestead, and especially tough for recent arrivals Jack and Mabel. Childless, they are drifted apart, he breaking under the weight of the work of the farm, she crumbling from loneliness and despair. In a moment of levity during the season's first snowfall, they built a child out of snow. The next morning, the snow child is gone, but they glimpse a young, blonde-haired girl running through the trees. This little girl, who calls herself Faina, seems to be a child of the woods. She hunts with a red fox at her side, skims lightly across the snow, and somehow survives alone in the Alaskan wilderness. As Jack and Mabel struggle to understand this child who could have stepped from the pages of a fairy tale, they come to love her as their own daughter. But in this beautiful, violent place, things are rarely as they appear, and what they eventually learn about Faina will transform all of them. So this book has magical realism in some way, but I think it is more retelling of one of the most famous fairy tales in the Russian folklore. So obviously I'm going to add this one as well. The next book is Disoriental by Nagar Diabadi. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that this can be a fantasy book or maybe a book with magical realism. It gives me idea of short story collection, as well as the idea that this book is based on some mythology. I don't know if it is Indian mythology or Middle East mythology. The character has been refused by his or her own family. And now move on to the Goodreads synopsis. The story of a young girl and her family at the core of an exploration of Iranian history. Kimia Sadr fled Iran at the age of 10 in the company of her mother and sisters to join her father in France. Now 25, with a new life and the prospect of a child, Kimia is inundated by her own memories and the stories of her ancestors, which reach her in unstoppable, uncontainable waves. In the waiting room of a Parisian fertility clinic, generations of flamboyant Sardes return to her, including a formidable great-grandfather, Montazé Mouk, with his harem of 52 wives, and her parents, Darius and Sarah, stalwart opponents of each regime that befalls them. In this high-spirited, kaleidoscopic story, key moments of Iranian history, politics, and culture punctuate stories of family drama and triumph. Yet it is Kimia herself, the punk rock aficionado, storyteller extraordinaire, Sherazade out of our time, and above all, a modern woman divided between family traditions and her own disorientalization, who forms the heart of this best-selling and beloved novel. Well, obviously, this one will be another add to my already infinite wish list. The next book is The Hunting of Greenwilder by 20 Web. This book suggests me about Nordic fantasy, maybe with some mythology related again, but also it could be a thriller or a spooky story. But because of this cover, I think also that it could be a retelling of The Lady of the Lake, a story among the Arthurian legends. But now, let's see what it is really about. After a devastating loss, Greenwilder escapes to Wharton, a tourist town on Lake Superior, to reset. Checking into a quaint boarding house for the summer, she hopes to put her life into perspective. In her fellow lodgers, she finds a friendly company of strangers, the Frey Alice, cared for by a married couple with a heartbreaking story of their own. Juan, the eccentric and lovable owner of the inn, and Dominic, an unsettlingly handsome man inked from head to toe in mesmerizing tattoos. This inviting refugee, where a century of souls has passed, a mystery begins to swirl. Alice knows things about Green, about all of them, that she shouldn't. Bad dreams and night whispers lure Green to a shuttered room at the end of the hall, a room still heavy with a recent death. And now she has become irresistibly drawn to Dominic, even in the shadow of rumors that wherever he goes, suspicious death follows. In this chilling season of love, transformation, and fear, something is calling from Green. To settle her past, she may have no choice but to answer. I think that this is the first time in this video series that I'm not sure if I'd like to add this book or not, because it sounds really intriguing, mysterious, and chilling, but not all that the synopsis has just told us is really captivating. So I don't really know, maybe because I'm not really into reading thriller and or spooky books, maybe I'm going to not add this one. And the next book is The Sound of Stars by Alekia Doe. Cover suggests me that it could be a sci-fi, maybe with two main characters that love books and pop music, because it's written on the cover itself. Maybe it has apocalyptic vibes, but I don't have any other clue. So let's see what it is really about. Can a girl who risks her life for books and an alien who loves forbidden pop music work together to save humanity? 2 years ago, a misunderstanding between the leaders of Earth and the invading Illyri resulted in the deaths of 1/3 of the world's population. 17-year-old Janelle Ellie Baker survives in an Hillary-controlled center in New York City. Deemed dangerously volatile because of their initial reaction to the invasion, humanity's emotional transgressions are now grounds for execution. All art, books, and creative expression are illegal, but Ellie breaks the rules by keeping a secret library. When a book goes missing, Ellie is terrified that the Hillary will track it back to her and kill her. Born in a lab, Morris was raised to be emotionless. When he finds Ellie's illegal library, he is duty-bound to deliver her for execution. The trouble is, he finds himself drawn to human music and in desperate need of more. They're both breaking the rules for love of art, and Ellie inspires the same feelings in him that music does. Ellie's and humanity's fate rests in the hands of an alien she should fear. Maurice has a lot of secrets, but also a potential solution, thousands of miles away. The two embark on a wild and dangerous road trip with a bag of books and their favorite albums, all the while making a story and a song of their own that just might have saved them both. This book is about alien invasions and a kind of book thief that tries to survive her love for books and art in general, pop music, and an impossible journey through space. I don't think I'm going to add this one because even though it's so strange and fascinating in some way, it's not what I was expecting, and I think that if I had a chance to read it, maybe I will have very low expectations as well as not enjoying it. So no adding this time. And the last book for today's video is Love is a Revolution by Renee Watson. So I think that this is a young adult romance involving more than one main character. Maybe it is more POVs, and I think that one of the main characters is a person of color, or more than one character. But I also think it's a story about love as it starts and ends. But to be sure, let's read the synopsis. From a New York Times best-selling and award-winning author Renee Watson comes a new YA, a love story about not only a romantic relationship, but how a girl finds herself and falls in love with who she really is. When Nala Robertson reluctantly agrees to attend an open mic night for her cousin sister friend Imanin's birthday, she finds herself falling in love with Ty Brown, the MC. He's perfect, except Ty is an activist and is spending the summer putting on events for the community, when Nala would rather watch movies and try out the new seasonal flavors at the local creamery. In order to impress Ty, Nala tells a few tiny lies to have enough in common with him. As they spend more time together, sharing more of themselves, some of those lies get harder to keep up. As Nala falls deeper into keeping up her lies and into love, she'll learn all the ways love is art and how self-love is revolutionary. In Love is a Revolution, plus-size girls are beautiful and get the attention of hot guys. The popular girl clique is not shallow but has strong convictions and substance, and the ultimate love story is not only about romance but about how to show radical love to the people in your life, including to yourself. A book about love stories, but also to learn to love yourself first, is a must to read, so I'm going to add this one. So today I decided to add 4 out of 6 books to my infinite wish list. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what are your thoughts about these books. If you have new titles to suggest me, please write me down in the comment as well. If you liked this video, please leave a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will wait for you in the next video. Ciao!